Our guest today is a senior yoga teacher for more than 2 decades. She's the one who's built yoga for Cult.fit. Glad to have you here, Divya.
Super stoked to be here.
Why is yoga so hard?
So, yoga is not hard actually. It's only hard on Instagram. Yoga also actually has a quote which says, Sthiram Sukham Asanam. Still, Sthiram, Sukham means comfortable. Asanam is posture.
Super inspired by your grandmother's story. She's 101 years old. She walks around, she's independent, she follows a specific meal plan, she does her stretches. Just tell us about her lifestyle and how has she achieved what she has achieved.
She has done consistently through her life has been meditation and pranayama.
How old is your father?
74.
He recently did.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about it? Our guest today is Divya Rola. She's not really a guest for me. She's more like home and a family. Uh, we've had a working relationship for close to a decade now. She's the one who's built yoga for Cult.fit. She also happens to be a senior yoga teacher for more than 2 decades. She's taught in different countries, including the US, Israel, Maldives, and a bunch of places. She's also my personal parenting inspiration. So, any question that I may have had over the last 3 years after having a boy, she's always been on my speed dial. And with her answers, she's made my life very, very easy. Um, Glad to have you here, Divya.
Super
Thank you very
stoked to
much.
be here.
Thank you very much for coming. And we are going to be talking about yoga for seniors predominantly, but yoga for pretty much in general, everybody. We are also going to be talking a lot about longevity from her personal experiences and family. So, Divya, to begin with, I recently we were talking and I was super inspired by your grandmother's story. She's 101 years old. She walks around, she's independent, she does her stretches, she follows a specific meal plan,
Yeah.
and she does a bunch of other things. Just tell us about her lifestyle and how has she achieved what she has achieved.
I've been very lucky to have witnessed my grandmom, not just growing up, but she also lives with my parents who live next door. So I've also had the privilege of having a grandmom next door, even though I'm 44 now. So one thing I've seen consistently through her life is that she has raised a very large family. She has 6 kids, 15 grandkids. And throughout her life, and none of them have come from a lot of means. So just being physically active, and when I say physically active, like literally doing every single
Yeah.
thing on your own, whether it's cooking for so many people or cleaning the house, it has been just her doing it consistently, decade after decade. So I think for her, when I talk to her about fitness, it's very alien to her because she finds this concept of taking 1 hour of her day to work out alien, because she says you need to just do everything on your own and be active all the time.
Yeah.
So I think for her, activity is a way of life. And now at 101, I can see that there's a compounding effect of what she has done ever since she was, I think, in her 20s and 30s, in how she has been physically active. In fact, recently I was also sharing with someone that till she was in her late 80s, she also used to refuse to use a regular Western toilet because she just felt like it was healthier to squat
Exactly.
and use a regular Indian toilet. I don't know how many youngsters now can actually sit in a deep squat and stay there for 4-5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a compounding effect in just how you live your life in a manner that's active.
Correct. And does she do yoga? Has she like been crediting yoga for being so independent at the age of 101?
So yoga has been a part of her life just because she's been active, but there are different components of yoga. So while yes, asana practice keeps your body limber, what I know that she has done consistently through her life has been meditation and pranayama.
Mm-hmm.
So at 101, you would assume mental clarity, sharpness, all of it starts to decline, and maybe there is some decline. But my grandmom remembers not just all her grandchildren's names, but she also has 18 great grandchildren. all of who love her, call her all the time from across the world. And she knows everything that's going on in everybody's life.
Wow.
And that kind of mental sharpness is not inherited, it's earned.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, when I say yoga, I mean meditation, pranayama, and very simple asana practice. Nothing crazy has been always a part of her life.
Amazing. And a lot of times people say that, you know, it's never too late to start. But what
Yeah.
does it like really mean? What I'm trying to say is that if someone 60 years old or 70 years old have never done any exercise, been very sedentary, then it actually by that time they would have seen a lot of damage. So it may
Right.
actually be very late to start.
So, yes, if you've not been physically active, by the time you're in your 60s, you see a lot of wear and tear in
Yeah.
your body. But actually, I want to say it genuinely is never too late to start because our bodies are also very forgiving.
Hmm.
So, the minute you say that I am going to take care of you, your body also starts taking care of you. So, I mean, I'll give you a few
Yeah.
examples. I have my mom who's now 67, 68, and while I think she's always enjoyed walking, and walking is something she used to do, but other than that, I think there was nothing else that really appealed to her. And 9 months back, with a lot of coaxing from me, she's managed to get into simple mobility work, asana work on the mat, and then some strength training. She herself now admits 9 months down the line that it's been transformational for her. And I'm not even talking about weight loss. For me, weight loss is not a direct indicator of good health.
Yeah.
It's just in her energy levels, how she's sleeping, her mood, her ability to climb 10 floors of stairs, no aches and pains. So, all of that has been transformational. So, if she can start at 68 and she also learned swimming at 60, I think,
She's learned swimming at 60.
yeah, she entered a swimming pool for the first time in her
At 60.
60s. Yeah.
And she can swim now.
She has realized she loves being in the pool. So she does a lot of pool aerobics
Okay.
because she had some amount of weight to lose and she realized the pool is a very safe space for
Hmm.
her to do it with very less
Yeah.
stress on her joints. So she's a daily at 6:37 in the morning. She's the only one in the apartment pool
Wow.
that you'll see in the Bangalore cold.
Wow.
So I think it's never too late. Your body always supports you.
In talking about it's never too late, you started a competitive sport in your
Yeah.
40s and you've gone all the way to nationals in competitive shooting.
Yeah.
So why don't you just talk about that?
So I think this was my 40th gift to myself. The gym, one of the cult gyms where I used to work out, the floor below had a large shooting range. So every time I went to the gym, it seemed like a cool thing. I was curious. I saw a lot of kids come in and out. So I signed up. They had a 10-day program. I signed up for it. And I realized two things. One is I think shooting requires enormous, I think most sport requires, but shooting requires enormous mental stillness and clarity. And two, it requires a lot of stability and strength in your upper body and in your lower body.
Hmm.
Both which I think because I've done yoga for so many years, both seem to come easier to me than most others. um, so after the 10 days, the coach actually refused to let me stop. He said, I see something here which you can really build on. Sign up for a year and let me coach you. And so, I mean, credit to the space also. They really pushed me because it was tough for me to manage training for a competitive sport and also working and parenting. But they ensured I showed up 4 times a week. And they were the ones who in fact said, you're ready for the state, go for the state, and then push me to go after I cleared that for pre-nationals and nationals. So in fact, if you go to the shooting range, you will see a sight of everyone sitting in a row quietly with their headphones on, either meditating or doing pranayama
Hmm.
before they actually go to the range and start shooting. So it requires just the in and out of a breath will ensure that your shot goes out of range. It's that
Yeah.
precise, and you're almost 10 meters away. So I do the 10-meter air pistol, and you're 10 meters away, and there is no room for distraction. So matches where I've done very well. um, I know how my entire day and week has been, and then there are matches which I felt I just threw away because the previous day I would have had a fight, or I would have carried some emotion or some
Yeah.
residue into the next day, and you don't realize it, but your breath changes. The pace of your breath changes based on how your mind, I think, the energy of your mind, and that's it. After that, you are unable to then focus and control.
Yeah.
So people say that, why, how come you picked up a gun when you're such an ardent practitioner of yoga? But I'm saying that competitive shooting, I'm not a I think
Sharpshooter.
supporter of this gun business, but competitive shooting is actually so interlinked with yoga. It's entirely about managing your breath and your mental state, because picking up something and aiming and shooting, most people can do. What sets you apart is, are you able to control your mind and your breath?
Yeah.
So I've loved this journey. It's been 2 years, 3 years now. Absolutely love it.
Makes sense. I think meditation is, I think it's a skill that should be taught in schools.
Yeah.
It's so hard to control your mind. I
Yeah.
meditate 10 minutes every day, but it is the hardest habit that I've ever had to build.
Yeah.
You said that previous day you would have had a fight. Do you fight with people? You're like the most calm person I've ever known
I think
in the last 40 years of my life.
no, I think everyone needs an outlet and is very human. So yeah, we all have our moments
Yeah.
where we lose our control and our cool. So, but yeah, mental clarity. Yoga completely supports that.
Yeah. And what would be your advice in terms of, specifically in terms of yoga, if you have to advise someone like that who's always been sedentary, 60 years old or maybe 70 years old, and if they have to get started now, what's your most basic, simplistic advice for them?
I will say start where you are. So, one, go to a good teacher who has been teaching for a long time, a senior teacher who's been in the practice. And for example, if you're someone who struggles to sit on the ground, you obviously cannot start yoga with a mat spread out, because your body will not be able to sustain that practice. Start with sitting on a chair. Do things that your body allows to start with, and slowly you will see you'll progress from a chair to a mat. From a mat, you start with really simple movements and exercises just to mobilize your joints first. And then you start doing something a little more rigorous and complex. So, honestly, I think it's a marathon. There's no sprint here.
Yeah.
You need to just show up every day and do whatever you can that day.
Makes sense. And since you spoke about, cognitive health for your grandmother, have you seen any changes at all in terms of how her cognitive health has been? She's been able to retain it for most part. Have you seen any changes at all? And do you attribute exercise or yoga for it at all?
I think for her, I attribute three things to her cognitive health. One is daily meditation practice. She is militant about sitting in the morning, afternoon, and night before she sleeps to meditate. And when I say meditate, again, it's not a huge effort. She sits wherever she is. I could be chatting on the bed on the side, and she just zones out. She closes her eyes and 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's it. But she always ensures she does it. The second thing is she reads a lot. She doesn't speak English, but she reads and writes Telugu. And even to date, her favorite thing to do is to read. So reading, I think, has been something that has stayed with her, and it keeps her sharp. It keeps her engaged mentally. And the third thing is community. My grandmom has a very large family, and a family she's very invested in. And I think we've all been lucky. She's also been lucky to be surrounded by family. I feel you age slowly when you're surrounded with love.
Yeah.
Now there's so much science to prove that
Right.
community
Of course.
matters for mental health,
Yeah.
right? So my grandmom has always been surrounded by people she loves, whether it's her grandkids, great grandkids. And I think that helps. Even today, she's the one who loves and enjoys a party the most, and sings the loudest in any party. So I think all of that helps.
If someone can do that at that
Yeah.
age, and I keep saying age, but of course she's just proving all of that wrong.
Yeah, and she has a gang of friends downstairs. She insists on going down, chatting with all of them in two different languages because they all speak English. She can't speak English,
Hmm.
but she still has a conversation with them. I don't know
Wow.
how.
Wow.
So I think zest for life.
Amazing. What's her name?
Bhanumati Devi.
So would you want to put her longevity protocol in our cheat sheet, which we can let people download
I
from the
think I'll
description?
say Bhanumati's daily four, which is her food habits, which she has sustained across 60, 70 years,
Mm-hmm.
her daily movement practice.
Yeah.
I think her keeping her stress levels low, her mental commitment to pranayam or meditation, and for community.
Awesome. So we are going to put the daily four
Yeah.
of your grandmother Bhanumati Devi in the cheat sheet, which people can download from the description. Talking about aging, and I do create a lot of content for older adults, and the kind of questions that I get is a lot around arthritis, early onset of arthritis, osteoporosis, and there seem to be a lot of fear around conditions like this, and that limits them from getting started or pushing the boundaries. What would your from a yoga standpoint,
Mm.
what would your advice be for them? Because a typical advice that they would receive is avoid deep back bends,
Mm.
avoid major twists, and things like that. What is your advice?
I think yoga is a very vast supportive practice, and there are many different styles of yoga, which can support I think different conditions. If I have to zone in on one, I have experienced and I absolutely love the Iyengar style or the approach to yoga, which is very supportive, which is very specific to a person's condition, and also uses and takes the help of a lot of props to ensure that you're kept safe in all of the positions. So it builds strength, it builds flexibility, but in a manner that is safe for you and very supportive.
Hmm.
So I will actually say find a good teacher
Yeah.
in your city who practices either Iyengar yoga or who has experience practicing with seniors or seniors who require, I think, who have specific conditions, and give it time. It
Yeah.
takes, I'll say it takes a year, it takes 2 years to
Hmm.
build, but then the returns are huge
Yeah.
once you do that.
Yeah, I generally tell people, when I get these questions, and I talk more from a strength training perspective, that find your pain free range,
Mm,
train at that
correct.
range to
Correct.
just build, first of all, comfort
Yeah.
at that range and confidence,
Yeah.
and eventually start loading so that you're able to build strength at that range.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that over a period of time, you will be able to, maximize your range of motion under load as well. But it's always best to work, with a physical therapist or a yoga teacher who knows how to work with
Absolutely.
these conditions.
And honestly, I don't believe in that saying. I mean, I know they say this a lot, no pain, no gain. But in this specific thing, I actually don't believe in that. I do believe you have to move in a pain free zone to
Exactly.
build strength.
Yeah.
And yoga also actually has a quote which says, Sthiram Sukham Asanam.
Okay.
Still, Sthiram, Sukham means comfortable. Asanam is posture. So all posture should have these two things, Sthiram and Sukham. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong or you're doing it above your capacity.
Got it. Makes sense. What about your yoga journey though? How did yoga become such a huge part of your life? I mean, you come from a dance background.
I grew up in a family. I mean, of course, Bhanumati Devi was already had inspired her kids that you have to stay active, play a sport. So all her kids were ardent believers in sport. So my dad actually ensured that me and my brothers always stayed active through our life. It was not even a question. But I actually went the usual route of doing an MBA, starting to work. And then I've always loved dance. I've been part of the dance community in school, college, throughout my life. I had a choreographer I absolutely loved in Chennai who was auditioning. Um, she had a group of 7. She had one vacancy. On a lark, I traveled to Chennai and I auditioned. I still surprises me that at 24, there was a place for me in that troupe. And that's it. Overnight, I packed my bags and moved. And I worked with her, and I think Padmini Chetur was her name. And I think she gave me the foundation of understanding my body. I credit her to that. And through my journey with her, when I danced professionally, yoga and Pilates was my baseline. This was what we did every single day for 2 hours before we even started our dance rehearsal, 6 days a week. So it built enormous strength and foundation in my body. So from there, I think I also realized that I loved teaching. And it didn't matter what. It could be yoga, it could be dance, but I innately loved teaching people. So I went and did my teacher's training in yoga at the Shivananda Ashram. And this was when I was maybe 26, 25, 26. So again, it's never too late to start. You don't need to do it from when you are 11 years old for you to. And that's it. I never looked back. I taught for a long time, ran my own studios in Chennai. And then when I moved to Bangalore, I happened to meet Mr. Mukesh, and they were just kickstarting and they wanted someone to build yoga. And it's been an absolutely beautiful journey.
Yeah, around the time when I met you as well. Why is yoga so hard?
So yoga on Instagram is hard. Let me say that.
Yeah.
So I also feel like when I came into yoga, I had no preconceived notions of what yoga should look like, how beautiful or complex a posture should be or not be. I just did what my body allowed me to and slowly built. There was no race, no pressure to do something that someone else was doing. It's harder now because you feel like you're never going to be able to catch up to the crazy stuff that people are putting out. So I don't believe that is. Yoga is a way of life. And I'll say that asana practice needs to be actually very simple. All it requires you to do is move your spine in 6 different directions. You can do that with very complex postures or very simple postures.
Like typical progressive overload, right?
Of course. Yeah. So yoga is not hard actually. It's only hard on Instagram.
Like most other things, right?
Yeah.
Is your daughter doing yoga?
She does. She doesn't learn from me. I don't think your kids, you're the best teacher of these kind of things with your kids. She learns by actually watching me and her father work on ourselves every day. She sees us practice yoga. She sees us strength training. She sees us prioritizing our meals with all our macros. So I think they watch and they learn. I don't think you can enforce anything on them. But her school ensures that she does yoga twice a week and she loves it.
Oh, wow. Which school is that?
She goes to the Valley School.
And they have yoga sessions for kids?
They do a lot actually. It's a very special school. It's set up by this philosopher called Jiddu Krishnamurti. And in fact, one of the primary reasons for me to move to Bangalore was also for her to go there.
You moved to Bangalore so that
one of
Maya
the
could
reasons,
go to that one school. Amazing.
I love that.
No wonder philosophy. I said you're my parenting inspiration.
No, I told you we should go to that school. I want to take you around.
Yes.
The school is inside the Banarghata forest. So the environment, the way the school approaches education, they don't just do yoga. Once a week, they also have a farming class. So it's called land care. So each class takes care of a patch of land, and through the year, they actually grow stuff there. She knows more about trees, animals, birds, worms, etc. than I do at 44. She knows more names of trees. I think she can rattle off at least 50 trees just off the top of her head. I think I like that approach to education. You're not separate from nature, you're one with nature.
Exactly. Your father is, how old is your father?
So he's 74.
74. And he recently did.
Yeah, the base camp.
Why don't you talk about it? Yeah.
So my dad has honestly, my mom has been the grounding effect in our lives, but my dad has been our fitness inspiration for all three of us. Me and my brothers absolutely love fitness. It's not a punishment for us to work out. Three of us thrive because of the foundation he has set.
Yeah.
I still remember when we were 15, 16, I think we all went through our crazes of wanting to play this sport, that sport. All he would always tell us is, first show me whether you can give me 10 push-ups. Are you able to pull your own weight up?
Wow.
So, I mean, in those days, no one was talking about all of this. And he also ensured that we played a sport through our teenagehood. We used to do it very grudgingly then because it took time away from hanging out with our friends. But now I see the value of it. And he's also been very athletic. So he works out 3 times a week, is a regular at the gym, absolutely loves. He just won the nationals in pickleball.
What?
For his age.
He won the nationals in pickleball.
Yeah.
So he did the doubles. At 74, he climbed Annapurna.
So he also loves trekking, and 2 years back, he climbed Annapurna Base Camp. And all of this, it's not that he's been doing it ever since he was a child or anything, right? He took up, say, tennis when he was in his 30s and 40s, has enjoyed it. Took up golf 15 years back, plays golf 3-4 times a week. Took up pickleball 1 year back, and now has won the nationals because I think he also enjoys movement. Yeah. And whatever, he's also retired now, so whatever he takes, he obsesses over it. So in fact, when he was training for this trek, he would be at the gym 4 times a week. He would easily do 15,000 weighted steps every day. He would climb 20 floors. Just so, he's like, my age cannot be the reason that I slow my group down.
That is some inspiration.
So, yeah.
Age cannot be the reason why I slow my group down. And I'm sure everybody was like way younger.
Much younger. They were all in their 30s. So they, in fact, absolutely love him, and they still come and hang out because they're like, uncle, we want to do what you're doing so that we also trek at the age of 74.
Wow. So, this is so amazing. Is he doing yoga?
He does. But I think he enjoys more rigorous practice, just given his journey in life. So he's not someone who can stay still for too long. So he does he loves sport. So I think playing a sport or cycling is his thing. So I'll say pick what you can do regularly and consistently and just do that.
Exactly. And I always, like, especially when it comes to sport, I always tell people that this is my number one fitness tip. Never let sport go out of your life. Because when you're playing a sport, I mean, you can do any kind of training. You can run a marathon, ultra, whatever. You can do sprints, which are all demanding. But when you play a sport, there are so many things happening. You have to sprint, you have to decelerate, you have to, there's change of direction, there is agility, and all of this in response to a ball or another player.
Correct.
And that makes it even more demanding. In a sport, and I read this in this book called My Story by Nadal, one of the best written books that I've ever read, that when you're playing a game of tennis, every second is an emergency. So you have to make decisions after decisions.
Yeah.
And that's something that keeps you sharp.
Mental
as
agility.
you age.
Sure.
You want to make sure that you're able to respond to questions fast enough. You want to make sure that you're not forgetting names and things like that. And that's what sport gives you for the rest of your life.
I think it also teaches you life skills because a sport, especially a team sport, is a microcosm of the world itself, right? It teaches you how to accept, because no 2 days are the same. You can be fabulous at your sport and you will still have at least 40% of the matches you play, you're defeated. So it sort of teaches you equanimity so that you take wins and losses in an even manner, which I think most adults can't do.
Yeah.
So it's so cool that kids are able to learn that via a sport.
Yeah, it teaches
you team spirit.
Exactly.
Teaches you to have people's backs.
Correct. So. Exactly. Makes sense. Thank you very much for everything. I would love to get you again here, and we only talk about parenting at that
I
time.
don't know. I love being a parent, but I'm no expert in
We'll talk. We'll
parenting.
talk from our experiences,
Sure,
not from
sure,
the lens of an expert. We'll just talk from our experiences.
sure.
We'll just basically have the same conversation. I'll ask you the same question that I keep asking you offline. That's it.
Done, done. We'll speak about our kids.
Make it like the most raw and most unfiltered podcast ever.
Done.
Thank you very much, Divya. Very
Love.
helpful, and I'm sure uh, our viewers will find the cheat sheet very helpful.
Yes, Bhanumati cheat sheet. So thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.